Put it on my belly.
Calvin Castine on a bright and sunny Saturday morning. It's the day after the 13th of August. It's August 14th, but yesterday was Friday the 13th, and we all survived, Randy.
That's why we had ours on a weekend this year. No, we had this the client appreciation, customer appreciation day, and had it coincide with the town-wide garage sale. And as you see, it's been really beneficial for us, and everybody gets hamburgers, hot dogs, ice cream, popcorn, soda, you name it. I think we've got it here.
I told Judy I'd take her out for some elegant dining, so she's over there having a hot dog.
At least it's not your anniversary.
No.
When we came, Champlain Towel and Prime Link have came out with a lot of new packages for the area.
Okay, let's first introduce, we'll let you talk about that, because I haven't said where we are and what we're doing here. This is the annual Champlain Telephone Company Open House, or Customer Appreciation Day, or is there any other title for it?
Customer Appreciation Day.
Customer Appreciation Day, and I'm talking to Randy LeBombard, who has a Prime Link shirt on and probably wears that Prime Link hat more than he does Champlain Telephone Company. But I interrupted you and you were about to say something.
No, I wear them both about evenly now.
Yeah.
Yes, and most of our shirts, as you see, have Prime Link and Champlain Telephone Company on it. And I'll probably get in trouble because I grabbed the wrong one this morning. But yeah, we have rolled out a lot of new packages, a lot of exciting features on our packages. Unlimited calling features, unlimited call long distance. We have all our broadband packages are on the table over here. We're talking to people about them, and in on our tours through the office. We have scalable broadband if people want more than the normal high-speed internet access we offer. We have other packages that give them more for gamers, or some people work out of their homes, and it's been great. It's been really great asset for us. People, as you see, are coming. We have inside the office, we have a bunch of pictures of what our corporation and what our employees do for the community. Anything from Knights of Columbus, Grand Night, to Little League baseball coach. And it's pretty amazing. There's 3 whole poster boards full of it. So it's we are a very community-oriented corporation, and when we do this, it was like we're sitting in meetings and we're going, wow, you know, for 50 some odd people, this is a lot of stuff we do in the community.
So is that many people between the phone company and Prime Link?
Yes.
And don't move on me.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes.
I know you'd like to get far away from me, but the camera won't follow you.
I'm trying to get far away from the camera. But yes, that's about what we are.
So that's pretty decent. That I don't know if that's your peak, but that's a lot of people.
Yes, it is, and steadily growing. Prime Link steadily growing. We're in the process of looking to start doing business in Glens Falls and construct fiber throughout Glens Falls, as we did in Plattsburgh. So Champlain Telephone Company has evolved into this nice corporation that's really delivering state-of-the-art services to our communities.
Well, you have to. If you're going to compete, you've got to be out there and competing with the big guys.
There's no doubt about it.
You got to have some meat behind you too.
We compete with the big guys, but we still give the small town service, and that's real important. You know, you have trouble with your internet, you can call, get a live voice, and talk to a help desk person, and they walk you through a lot of stuff. A lot of people are scared of the computer. Well, it's nice knowing that you can call in and somebody can walk you through. And after you do it a while, it comes pretty easy.
Yeah, particularly older people, young guys like me. Don't worry about that, because I've got a son who's got all the answers. But
yeah, Justin is very good with that.
But yeah, the computer can be kind of scary, especially when it starts to act up on you and you don't know what button you hit, or sometimes you didn't hit the wrong button. It's just a computer. But
well, it's hard. You don't know if there's trouble in the computer or is it in the broadband that's being delivered to your house.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to make that phone call and they can distinguish which way it is.
Now, I imagine that not all your services are available to all your customers, though. You've got some rural roads that only have maybe 2 or 3 houses on it that you have to provide phone services for, but you may not be providing the broadband.
No, this is in Trent's dedication to the community is anybody in the Champlain Telephone Company footprint can get our broadband services. Not telling you we're making much money at it.
I don't imagine.
But we offer it for anywhere from Ross's Point up to Cannon's Corners, out Scioto, towards in Altona. Our whole serving district can get our broadband.
So if they've got a Champlain telephone company line going
Telephone number, we can give them the broadband service.
Yeah, well, you don't have to necessarily have to be available for a Champlain telephone company phone. If they don't have one, you'd still go there and
We'll still hook them up.
you'd still be willing as long as the line goes by there.
If we have telephone running by, we'll take care of it.
So you don't have to have the phone company, but that's been a problem, I'm sure, not so much in your aspect, but for the phone company itself, because so many people have got so many other alternatives that they kind of forget about the local guy here that's been in business since 1903.
Yeah, cell phones have the younger generation are younger. They're not worried too much about the 911 issues or the power outages. They just use a cell phone. But boy, they want that broadband. If I had to ask my daughter if she had to get rid of her cell phone or the broadband, I really think she would get rid of the cell phone, and I think she's closer to that than she is me at times. But yeah, broadband is really the younger generation have grown up with it.
Oh yeah.
So they just use it. If you look at the younger generation, they pay all their bills online. A lot of them don't even know what a checkbook is. They do everything online, and that's the wave of the future.
Yeah, I'm a little I do some online, but I'm so reluctant to being hacked that I just.
It's funny being in the business. We get all these statistics, and the statistic is that it's safer doing it online than handing your credit card to an employee at a box store. I'm your age.
No, you're not.
I'm close. I'm going both ways with it. So it's fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And the more the internet's out there, the more it's being with firewalls and stuff, and firewalls in front of servers. It's more protected. And the statistics are that you're going to lose your credit card numbers to an employee. You're more often than somebody's going to hack into your internet at this time.
Yeah, but I also like I know that the phone company offers you can pay online, but I like getting that bill, because if I don't get that bill for hometown cable, then I'm not going to have it when I need it for tax purposes. I need that piece of paper, because I'm not going to be thinking to print it out every month. It's going to be done automatically, and it's not going to be in my mind.
Well, with online payment, you still get a paper. You still get a paper trail with us. You still get a paper. We still get it mailed
for
to
the
you.
time being.
No, that's the law.
That's the law?
We have to do it.
Oh, I like the law. A lot of laws I don't like. But
that's still being done. So you still have that.
Oh, so I might do it.
The younger generation would sit there and go, well, I'll just go to my history and print it out and have it.
Yeah, but sometimes those histories only go back 3 months or 6 months.
Well, let me talk about a new product we're looking to roll out.
Okay.
We're in the process right now. We're very close to rolling out an online backup data storage center. With that being said, it's like at your home. You can say at 5 o'clock, we do an initial download to your computer to a server somewhere remotely. And then as you'd say at 5 o'clock every night, I'd like it to download again. It would download all the changes. So if something ever happens, you'd have the remote backup there. And it's one of the things that we are committed to doing to keep, if you look at the cities of Montreal and stuff, technology-wise, they always say, well, they're 3 years ahead of everybody. Well, in this area, that's not a true statement, because companies such as ourselves and some of our competitors are looking to keep up with everybody. You need it in the business world now, because if you ever read the book "The World Is Flat," doing business, you've got to do business as well in Champlain as well as there in Montreal, and the internet has given us the capability of doing that. So that's you need the providers to take care of that. So this backup storage will be nice for businesses and for residential.
Yeah, because all you need is that one crash, and
you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Or a flood, something happens, it's a fire.
Yeah.
So it's as the younger generation comes up more, the older generation won't change. The younger is going to need it, and
they won't know anything else.
True.
Well, just as an example, one of my grandkids was over to our house about a month ago, and the remote wasn't working too good, or we couldn't find it, so he wanted to change the channels. He says, I can't find the remote. And this was a little small TV on the counter and stuff. I said, well, go push the buttons.
No idea.
No idea. Buttons on the television, you can change the channel without the remote.
It's like I said, when you grow up with, we grew up with 8 or 10 channels, and usually 3 that came in good. you didn't worry about changing the channels. Now you lose the remote, you're lost.
I know.
It's
Yeah, you had to physically get up
Yeah,
and
turn
turn
it.
that. And, so you didn't turn it unless you had to. You got comfortable.
you knew before the night started what you were going to watch most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're surfing all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
People don't watch commercials; they're switching to something else quick. Like
Except on hometown cable,
There you go.
they're very faithful to watching the
local
commercials.
community.
That's right. That's right. All right. There's more people that you want me to talk to. Anything else that you want to say before we take off here?
Well, I want to thank you for coming
Oh,
and welcome everybody here, and tell everybody that this is a yearly function. So when they we send out flyers, we send everybody gets a mailer. We have posters up all over. We have signs up. So as I want to tell everybody here in our community and outside our community, free food and a lot of good times. Great for the kids too. Bounce house. We have a lot of bucket rides and a lot of stuff for the children.
yeah, and although you call it Customer Appreciation Day, if you're not a customer, you can stop in and
Definitely.
maybe you'll become one.
Definitely, more than welcome.
All right. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Cal.
Okay, we've got. Do you have the both on your sleeve here? No, all you got the CTC. Greg here's got the Prime Link and the CTC.
So do I.
Oh, you do have it. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
just your huge muscles. I couldn't see the back. All right,
You're dreaming.
we have Trent Trahan and Greg McConnell, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Trent, since you're the big chief, we'll start with you. What is your official title here with the phone company / Prime Link? Official title.
Chairman, CEO, and president,
And president. And bottle washer.
and bottle washer.
Today.
And
Today.
well, I'm really pleased with the crowd. You know, it's a good respite for people who are doing their garage shop or garage sailing to come in, have lunch, and you know, we've got some good turnout. Great place to hide the kids too.
Yeah,
So,
you can bounce around or take them in a bucket ride or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, well, this is great. Yeah, I didn't know how it would work out with the garage sale, just if people would stop, but since a lot of people are moving around, so if they're not overly anxious to get to that next one on their list, they might stop in here. Are you on the? Cause you have some garage sale items here. Are you on the Champlain, town of Champlain map for the garage sale? Do you
Yes,
know?
we are.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You saw to that, Greg? Did you?
Well, not exactly, but yeah, we got it done.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your title?
I'm Vice President and CFO of Champlain Telephone Company and President of Prime Link.
CFO. What-
Chief Financial Officer.
Financial officer. Oh, so you guy with the wallet.
Well, I watch it.
Both ends. Coming
Both
in
and
out.
going up. Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And where'd you come to get here?
Well, prior to this,
Come from, I should say.
yeah, I was with Prime Link for 10 years, and then prior to that, I worked for the Myers Group.
Oh, so you've been in the area for a while. Then.
Oh yes, yeah, since 1968 actually. Off and
Okay.
on.
So 10 years before, you were still with Myers before they closed then? Or?
Yes, I was with the Myers Group for 13 years
Okay.
before that.
And how'd you happen to find him, Trent? What, did a search? You're looking for somebody to fill a spot? Or?
Yeah, I started searching back when I was in college. Because I just knew that at some point I was going to need a whole lot of people working for me.
So do you know Greg already? Or?
Yes.
okay.
Greg is a fraternity brother of mine from college, and he was, 2 years behind me, I
Yes.
think. And so and then ended up president of the fraternity. And so we've been in contact for quite a while, and things just worked out. Greg wanted to, after Myers closed its doors, Greg wanted to stay in the area, and so he and I started talking about that, and we were just in the midst of starting up Prime Link, and boy, we needed his marketing and sales skills to get that thing going, because if you don't have customers, you don't
Yeah.
have a business.
You can have the greatest service in the world, but nobody buys.
Exactly. So so that worked out really well for us, and we got Prime Link going pretty strong, and we had our last CFO move out of the area, so it was a perfect fit, and guess he's going to take over for me at some point.
Wow.
So I can go off into the
Those are
sunset.
big shoes. Those are big shoes.
They are big shoes.
When you were fraternity brothers, did you ever
Yes.
think he'd amount to anything? Or
Well,
you want to tell me that later?
He said I was 2 years behind him. I was just 2 years younger. I think that's what he really meant.
You're still 2 years behind him,
I'm
right?
still 2 years behind him.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
Plattsburgh State also? Or?
Yes. Yeah, I came up to Plattsburgh in 1968 and pretty much have stayed here off and on since then. And love the area, love the Adirondacks, the lake. Just the Champlain, Rouse's Point, Plattsburgh area has been great, and it's been a super place to really raise children, and good quality of life. It's excellent. Couldn't be better.
Yeah. Speaking of raising children, did I see you at the kindergarten graduation last
Yes, you did.
June there in Shazy?
My first child just graduated from kindergarten. I got started really late. I mean, Greg is 2 years behind me, but he
It was a few years ahead of you.
he jumped into the fray pretty quickly, and I waited until real late in life.
So you have a couple, don't you?
Yes, I have a son who just turned 6 and a daughter who's 3 years old.
All right. And you graduated from Shazy
Yes. Yep.
and also from Plattsburgh State. And one of the things you guys have to be kind of proud of is that Prime Link shootout every year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who thought of that? Both of you at the same time, or who's going to take the credit?
It's all Trent's.
All Trent?
Well, yeah. That really started with Coach Emery, the coach at Plattsburgh State. He's been my best friend for, since about 93, 94. And he's from Boston, and he played in the Bean Pot, which is Harvard, Northeastern, Boston College, and Boston University. And it's every year it's the same teams, and it's just great tradition. So he had this idea that we had all these great hockey programs, Division III hockey programs in the North Country, and he came to me and said, would you be interested in sponsoring that? So we worked out a whole lot of things and talked to the coaches in Middlebury and Norwich, and we formed it. We're going into our 11th year.
Wow.
And last year's national champion was Norwich, and they're out of the tournament. Out of the 11 years, I think we have 10 of those years with somebody in the Final Four in the national championship, and I think we've won 7 or 8.
Yeah, I was going to say 7 or 8.
So it's a very prestigious Division III tournament. Then.
Yeah, we've been very lucky. I mean, it's just a great group of coaches and athletic departments and schools that really have excellence in mind. And I think they really get the idea of mind, body, and spirit. And I think the tournament hits all of those.
Yeah, I've been amazed that Emery has stayed at Plattsburgh State for so long, because he has to get offers, I'm sure, from other places, but he's been pretty well dedicated for a long time to Plattsburgh State.
Yeah, I get phone calls from him every once in a while, just saying, what do you think of this one and what do you think of that one? It's when you've built a program and you've had the opportunity to do what you want. I mean, it's kind of like us building Prime Link and and taking Champlain Telephone Company and trying to grow it. It's you get connected to what you've done.
Right.
And it's really hard to leave and get into another situation. They aren't always better.
No.
Even though it might sound as though they're better.
Yeah, it might be a few dollars here and there that might make it look better, but there's a lot more things in life than making a few more dollars.
And he got married, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months before I did. And he now has 3 children. So, it's a great place to raise kids, and I think that's what he's looking at.
Yeah. You can't compare our lifestyle with what goes on in that big city. You just, you can. Yeah.
Although he's a city kid, there's
but sometimes being a city kid, you really appreciate what we got here. If you grew up around here, you kind of take it for granted, but you know.
It's true.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I've noticed last year that I think ought to be better known is the fact that the Plattsburgh State hockey games are live over your website. How did that happen?
We've got the Prime Link shootout at this stage. Is we stream that. We stream all 4 games, and certainly it's something that we're looking at.
I thought some of the regular season games were streamed.
We did do a couple.
We experimented. I mean, it was sort of like the beta test. Okay, can we do this? What kind of equipment do we need? What kind of bandwidth do we need out of there? You know, what's it going to take to get a big screen on a computer presentation as opposed to a smaller screen, and so quality of those games might not have been that great. We didn't advertise them. We didn't do anything. It was just an experiment. And we've streamed the shootout for the last 3 years.
Right.
We contracted with someone the first year, and in the last 2 years we've done it ourselves. And you know, we don't know where it's going to go. We do know that the internet is going to continue to grow and have much more use. So we're not sure where it's going yet.
Yeah, no, I think I know with Brian McBride, who has Plattsburgh.com and also helps me out with the HometownCableNetwork.com, we've gone live 2 or 3 times, but it's a lot of work to do it. But it's still a heck of a nice thing to advertise and offer to the people because it's available around the world.
Absolutely, and I think that the real opportunity there is as you say, Calvin, for individuals who can't physically be here, the parents, the friends, the players, the alumni, who, as you know, we have a team from the Midwest that participates now as one of the 4, and a lot of those parents perhaps can't be here, or, they're relatives and they still want to see their child play, and gives them the opportunity to be able to see them and enjoy it.
Yeah, and we can judge, or we can tell where everybody's grabbing the signal from. And for example, Norwich alum hit the games from obviously United States, Canada, England, and Iraq. Which you'd say, okay, Iraq, what? Well, it's a military school.
Sure.
So they had an awful lot of alum
Yeah.
in Iraq, and they just loved to follow the hockey.
Yeah, and just being able to provide that to those guys that are over in Iraq has got to be pleasing,
Absolutely.
You're not going to make a dime off this guy in Iraq, but be able to provide him with that service is just, it's got to be self-satisfying for you guys.
Absolutely.
It is.
Now you talk about, you no longer think of this community, small town as being behind the scene. I'm a few years older than you, and you grew up in an area with a Shazy Westport phone company, small town, like Champlain Telephone.
Yep.
But I'm just old enough to remember that we had the crank on the wall in a 8-party line where we lived up on the Ridge Road. And our phone number was 11Y11, and when it rang all over the party line, and it was one long and one short was us. So that if you wanted to pick up, you could hear what everyone else was saying. But if you watch the movies from earlier, even earlier in the 30s and 40s, I'm talking about in the 50s when I was a kid, but watch the movies in the 30s and 40s, and the people in the cities had the regular phones that we think of.
Right.
So we had phone service, but it was a generation behind what was being offered in the big city. That's no longer the case now. If
Right.
it's offered anywhere around the world, and chances are Prime Link and the Champlain Telephone can provide you with that service.
And that's very true. It's obviously back in the beginning of the 1900s, when a lot of this stuff started happening, you need economies of scale. I mean, you needed large communities to be able to pay for building this stuff out, and there just weren't that many people per mile up here. Well, the electronics has gotten much cheaper, and the reality is that the small telephone companies like Champlain Telephone are driving where telecommunications is going, and we're delivering it much faster. So we put in a digital switch back in the 80s, and we were one of the first small telephone companies to do so. We started putting fiber in back in the 80s, and we were the first telephone company in the state to do that. And now, I think we were the third or fourth to put in that soft switch, which replaces, if you remember, some of the old open houses we've had, this huge room that we have with a switch in the back of the office, took up, probably 1,000 square feet. Well, we can, all of the functionality from that 1,000 square feet is now in about
Refrigerator.
for 20 cubic feet. Yeah.
Yeah, we took a tour here, I think in 90 or 91, and J.R. Davenport took us in the back and through all these tentacles and stuff. And I recently reran it because one of the people we talked to was Elsie Mayo, who was a long-time phone operator, and she talked to us for a few minutes.
She was our head operator.
Yeah, and she passed away recently. So when that happens in the community, and I've got them on tape, I'd like to, as a tribute to those people, run that program again. So I ran that within the last couple of weeks, and it's amazing looking at that. And that was all state of the art. And
It was.
Do you have any type of a crystal ball? I mean, if you look back 3 years ago and pictured what we're to be doing now, you probably couldn't have guessed what's there. So how do you keep up?
Well, I think I think it's pretty clear that the entertainment we're going to receive, our voice and our data, everything's going to be condensed over the internet. It's all going to come together over the internet. So, in looking at that, it just really really underscores the fact that more and more bandwidth is going to be required for not only businesses but also for residential users as well. And we're seeing now much more entertainment that's coming over the internet, and so this is just all going to come together. And again, it's going to be bandwidth driven, and the electronics behind that are going to be required in order to deliver that bandwidth. And things are getting smaller and smaller, and gradually they'll become less expensive, as we go forward. And that's just the way it works. Economies of scale.
Color television example. When we were kids, television was a real luxury. Then all of a sudden, they 20 years later, they cost less than they did 20 years before.
Absolutely. And now we have 3D.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't yet. I haven't.
I don't either. Believe me.
But it's coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I saw a couple 3D movies last year, I said it's not going to be long.
No. Everybody's going to want it.
Every movie's going to be 3D, and it's just it's that next stage.
Yeah, and I certainly will echo what Greg has just said, and it's why we are now rolling out new programs in Champlain as well as in the Prime Lake area, where the bandwidths are increasing, and I can remember when it was 512. K and then 1 megabyte and 3. Now we have programs that go to 10, 15, 20, and we project in the next 5 years to go to 50 and maybe 100. And and those prices, I mean, if you looked at what that would have cost 5 years ago, for 10 meg, it would have cost probably $1,200 a month.
Right.
And now that price is around $50, $60 a month. So that is where this industry is going. It's going to how big is the pipe? What is the use that the business and the residential customer are going to use? Are they going to be doing a lot of gaming? Are they going to do a lot of research on the internet? Are they going to do a lot of downloading of movies? And I think what our little crystal ball, and who knows whether we're right or wrong, but we think that's where commercial television is going as well. You'll dial into some website someplace, and that's where you'll get your programming. You'll be able to create your own channel lineup by combining. I mean, there will be software programs out there that'll combine,
Right.
you know, your all those different websites into, you know, the old clicker, and you'll be able to go up and down and do whatever without having to just always, you know, type in your web site.
Yeah, that's why for the past year and a half, I've been streaming my Channel 24 programming from up here in North Country, and that's on available at our website. And it's, you know, available around the world.
Yep.
So I no longer have people say, "Gee, I can't get you." I say, "Well, if you got high-speed internet, you can get me."
Right.
But someone say, "Gee, I still got dial-up." So it's time to move into the 21st century here, and you know, and it's amazing. Some people who it's not the cost that's holding them back. It's just they're just too lazy or whatever to move into the upgrade.
I think you know, I don't know about the laziness, but I do think that there is a reticence to try new things, and
Intimidated?
and this is new. I mean, it's a different way of doing things, you know, and you know, if people need some instruction, we're more than happy to help them with that. But it's
experts that'll provide that service.
it's a brand new world. I mean, I was talking to a guy this morning and said, I can't believe what this internet does. I'm finding cars all over the world that, I mean, just I'm salivating over, you know, and you can not only find out the car, the mileage, the last time the oil was changed, and, you know, it's in Detroit, or it's in Texas, or, you know, it's in New Jersey, or, hey, it's right in Plattsburgh, and I didn't know it was there, but it's on the internet.
Yeah, it's just, you know, yeah, we could not have pictured this 20 years ago. What this has done.
No, and it's really, and I don't want to overemphasize this, because there are a lot of us who are in our 50s and 60s that are just as sharp as you know, the kids that are in their teens and early 20s. But obviously it is somewhat generational in that, you know, the younger people really have grown up with it.
Yeah.
So to them, you know, sitting down at a keyboard is no different than sitting down at what would be to us a selectric typewriter, you know, that we grew up with. And so they've grown up with it in their home, they've grown up with it educationally, they've grown up with it socially. So my daughter, when she sends me an email, you know, I'm looking at the address string on it, and there'll be people from, you know, Russia, there'll be people from Germany, there'll be people from Italy, there'll be people from the UK, as well as from the United States. I mean, the younger generation is really global, and the internet has allowed them to really not only embrace that, but to expand that universe of acquaintances that they have, and to stay connected with them. And so for them, you know, Twitter and Facebook and all of that is as familiar to them as as that crank phone with the party line was to us, you know. And that was the 8 people who were on our party line, 8 families on our party line when I was growing up, had as much access to what we were saying probably as somebody in Facebook today, you know. So, you know, Facebook today could be, you know, equated to that kind of universe. So the universe went from 8 families to the globe. And that's really, I think, you know, books like The World is Flat and philosophers who talk about the impact that the internet has had on the globalization of the economies and our social development and all that, cultural development. It's really true. I mean, it's not academic. I mean, we can see it and we can talk about it. And the things we've talked about here today are really a reflection of that innovation.
There's stories actually. I mean, speaking of Elsie Mayo, where somebody would call her and say, "Well, where's my husband?" or "Where's my kid?" You know, and she'd know because she'd heard somebody talking about that they'd seen somebody.
Yeah, I think it was with Dave's retirement party up at, I think we talked to May Fillion up there, and she's talking about looking out the window and saying, "Yeah, he's over there at the store across the road," you know.
And we used to be 911. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
This is where we called out the fire departments and everybody else.
Operator or central.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if my father ever said operator. He probably thought it was still central, but you no longer get a local person when you dial that. I don't know. I haven't dialed operator in so long. I don't know where. Maybe they speak that from Bangladesh.
You gotta be careful what you say these days.
I know.
Well, I mean, all you have to think about is just as recently as the 90s, and you know, when I said I was working for Myers, if I needed some trade statistics, my first thought would be, well, let's go to the archive and the research section of Plattsburgh State University Library where they've got the the research and information. I'd give them a call. Today, and I wouldn't even think about the internet. Today, that's the first place you go, and it's not to say that there isn't a place for libraries. There certainly is, and all of the archive material that they have. But it's not the first place you think of now when you need some research information. And you can have 2 seconds. You've got it.
Yeah, I remember back when I was working at Sheridan Company, later Harris Graphics, and in the early 70s, when they get a print from out of the Easton plant, they'd fax it up.
Right.
Well, it would take an hour or an hour and a half, one little line at a time.
Right.
But what an innovation that was, because we didn't have to wait 2 days for them to throw it up to us or overnight it from
Well, we've had to pass laws to accommodate that. Where electronic signatures are now legal. Before it was okay. Well, you can sign things in separate parts, but it wasn't official until every hard copy showed up on the desk.
So now,
now you can do it all electronically, and boy, I'll tell you, there's a lot of business that's done that way.
Yeah.
Think of the brokerage houses that are here now.
Yep.
A lot of stuff. Even our federal government is starting to do things electronically, which everything has always been hard copy. So, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Anything else, gentlemen, that I didn't think to ask?
No, I think you've covered most of it. I think the bottom line is just really the internet has really enabled us to increase the speed of commerce and the amount of activity that can be accomplished in a shorter period of time. And I think that's probably good for the economy as a whole and society, and that we can achieve much more in a very short period of time.
And one of the things that Randy Lombard mentioned that I didn't realize is that if Champlain Telephone offers that line of telephone service that goes by your house, then the broadband is there too.
Yes.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what remote road you live down.
Yeah, that's true. We serve 100% of the customers that we. I mean, it's called the franchise territory. I mean, we're licensed in the state of New York to do 124 square miles in Champlain Telephone Company. PrimeLink can do it in all of New York. Well, actually, in any place in the country, if it wants to. But for every place that our network are in this 124 square miles, we will deliver whatever it is. 3 meg, 5 meg, 10 meg. It's in the plans to do that.
I have to applaud you for that, because as somebody who lives in a rural area, I look a few miles past my house, and I just hope that those people would have this type of service, and I'm glad that they do. Anything else, Trent, that you can think of?
Nope, just thank everybody for coming, and thank you, Calvin, for everything you do for the area. This is it's got to be pretty exciting for you, actually, to see what can be done on the internet, and for your business as well.
And not to downgrade the telephone, but it's so much easier to email somebody back and forth 2-3 times and.
Well, just remember, it's still on the telephone.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's still on the telephone.
It's still online. It's a lot easier than picking up and calling and playing phone tag and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's why we keep saying the battle isn't over the telephone. The battle's over the pipe to the house.
Yeah.
That's where the battle is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, this will conclude our August 14th, 2010 visit to the Champlain Telephone Company. And we look forward to next year's open house. And remember, you don't have to be a customer to stop in to Customer Appreciation Day. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and for those of you who support viewer-supported local television, Hometown Cable. Well, Hawk Courier puts his team up by an 8-7 margin. There's Larry Kriegel, third baseman.
Let's go! Come on, head up! Only one run! All right, Sam! Squeeze it! Come on! Aaron, you got
Left
roll!
center field.
Don't leave him there! Come on, make a play in the field right now! Let's go!
We got 3 bases stumbling in. We had a fan swearing, so we had to back up our tape. And that ball was flying out there. And take that cursing out while we were thinking of it. So Jocko DeMars Sr. got up there and just barely beat out a ball, an infield ball. Here's Scott McCormick. McCormick hits it. They're looking for 2. Castine back to first, not in time. Kriegel scores. Run number 9 scores. It's now 9-7. Man at first, 2 outs.
There you go. Little talk, dog. Nice pitch!
2-1 pitch. And Medor drops it into center. Gets through, and that's going to be extra bases.
Come on, Michael!
Here comes run number 10 in McCormick. Medor will be held up. Oh, Kevin Levine will step in. And Lodgeway set. 10-7 here in the 5th inning.
Nice fire! Good play, Sal. Here we go now.
2-1.
Nice pitch!
And it's a foul ball.
Here we go. All day here, Kevin. Come on. Squeeze it! Come on!
Right field, Mike Castine grabs. 3 runs for Labatt. They lead 10-7 going to the bottom of the 5th.
Come on! Come on! Let's go! Let's play dirty now! Come on! Come on, Johnny!
We got John Southwick at the plate.
Come on, Johnny! Come on, Johnny! All right. Here we go!
He puts this one out of here. He was mad. He was mad. Home run for John Southwick makes it a 10-8 ball game here in the 5th.
Right field now, come on.
Here's Justin Sample. High fly ball. Ball grabs it. 1 down. Now we got Chris Castine. Strike. Got the back corner of the mat. Through the left side, a base hit. Oh, you see that water flying up. That's part rain and part dew. Now Jamie Moore. Tying run at the plate. Hit by Kriegel into left field. Here comes Castine. He will score. Throw goes to second. And Moore is in with a double. Tying run at second with 1 out. Dave Waldron, the batter. It's deep. Probably won't advance on that one. He will advance. 2 down.
Come on, kid!
Dylan Lajway takes it outside. Tying run 65 feet away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bottom of the 5th. Hit to Kriegel. Boots it. Lajway will be safe at first. Tying run scores. Strike 1 to Mike Castine. Hits it to straightaway center. We're going to the 6th inning, all tied up.
Let's not go quietly. Come on, Mike. Bat around. Come on. Come on, Walker.
Mike Welk at the plate. 6th inning, tie game, 10-10. It's the first shot. It's off the glove of Dylan Lashley for a base hit. Now Tom Perry.
Fire, Sam!
Straight in there, Sam.
Yeah! Come on, Sam. Come on, Sam.
Strike one. To the second, nice charity hop. Good decision by Southwick. Or was that Rivers? Who's that? Rivers at second. Rivers at second.
Good play.
2 down. Jocko DeMars Jr. the batter.
We're still playing. Let's go.
Hey, play, Matty!
Good eye. That's hot.
Center on that last play. Let's go. Come on, boy! Come on, boy! Go get him!
Oh, yeah.
Go get him! We're not done.
In the box.
Come on. There it is.
There you go.
Squeeze it! Catch it!
3 up, 3 down, nothing across. We're going to the bottom of the 6th.
Let's go, fellas.
It's 10-10.
There we go. Let's go.
Watch him at third.
Bottom of the 6th, Sam Lajway will step in. We have a tie game, it's 10-10. First place at stake in the A Division of the Adirondack Slow Pitch League. Line shot, base hit for Lajway. Brent Kringle earning his keep. Excuse me, Brent Campbell earning his keep. Here's Matt Rivers, the second baseman, who made that nice double play for the first 2 outs in the bottom of the top of the 6th. It's up the middle, nice pickup by Perry. He's looking for a double play. Keith Real says he's got it. 2 down. Top of the order now, Jared Jarvis. It's a high fly ball. DeMars goes back. It's off the base of the fence. Jarvis can move. He'll stop at second. Well, Scott Baker, go ahead run at second. 2 down.
Yeah, I heard.
It's a foul ball. John Southwick, who homered, is on deck. Homered his last time up, I should say. Hit to right. Well, going over. He'll grab it. End the inning. It's still tied. We're going to the 7th.
No, we gotta go! Come on, Nuke, let's go!
Going to come down to a 1-inning ball game, maybe, if one team scores more than the other here in the 7th. 10-10.
Come on, Neil!
First place at stake. Neil Stevens at the plate. Sam Lajway says, Lord, just let me get by this fella.
Fire, Sam! Squeeze it!
High fly ball. Jarvis will grab it. 1 down. No, it's not Ted Klazewski. It's Hawk Burrier at the plate.
Yeah! Good spot. Come on, Hawker, let's go. Fire, Sam! Come on, move hard. Come on! Nice pitch!
Base hit into left field. And Burrier's on. Larry Kriegel had the triple last time up. Go ahead run is on with 1 out here in the top half of the 7th.
Fire, Sammy! Yes! Bring it to him, though! Bring it to him! Come on! Good fire, Sammy! Right there. Come on. You don't want to hit, Sam. Nice pitch! Oh, yeah, nice pitch! Nice pitch! You get another one, Larry. Here we go. Oh, beauty, Sammy!
Come back to the Lajway. He's going to have to go to first. 2 down.
Hold on.
Go ahead run moves to second base. Jocko DeMars Sr.
Come on, Josh. Come on, 2-5. Let's go. Out front. Good fire, Sammy.
Nice.
Come here, Blue, make a play.
Ball 1.
Jocko, let's go.
Chopper to, woo, bad hop. Throw's going to be high. Here comes the go-ahead run as the ball goes out of play. There's a bad hop to short. Moore